Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 3. We will discuss about family values. The members are Feby Milenia, Hafidz Dardarulloh F, Marina, Putty, Ariestian, Wida Ayuwandini, and I, Intan Novitasari. So the first section we will be discussed about family values and will be presented by me. What is family values? Basically, the family is the main unit in socializing. Many important things need to be considered in the family because not all families have the same actions as role models in life. In order to understand the American family, we need to go beyond statistics and explore values concerning children, young adults, the elderly, and family structure. Okay, the first is child raising. What is child raising? Child raising is the main role that must be considered for every family. This addresses mainly to traditional values of community and self-reliance. The goals of child raising is to prepare children to fill vital roles in society that uphold established standards. Those who choose child raising see success as strong interpersonal connections. The following of child raising are related into begins at birth. It means how parents treat a newborn baby. And the last one is the role of parents is very meaningful and needed, such as teaching their children about new things, religion, culture, norms, and etc. So the culture of child raising that occurs in the United States there are parents always put their newborns in separated rooms. It means this helps to preserve parents' privacy and allows the child to get used to having his or her own room, which is seen as a first step toward personal independence. The second is Americans cultivate their children traditional to hold onto independence and have a closely related value, individualism, and at a high esteem, as well as preferences from children should cut the umbilical cord and are encouraged not to be tied to their mothers upon strength. In the process of their socialization, children learn to look out for number one and to stand out their own to be. It means that children are taught from an early age to be independent and responsible. The third is 9 or 10 years old children has worked outside to the house to establishing autonomy. Many children are taught at a very early age to make decisions and be responsible for their actions. Children at this age can send newspaper in their neighborhood and then save or spend their income. The last one is teenagers 13 to 18 years can work as a babysitter at neighbors' homes to get a few dollars per week. It means receiving a weekly allowance at an early age teaches children to budget their money and preparing them for future financial independence. So many parents in the United States believe that managing money helps children learn responsibility as well as appreciate the value of the money. Okay, next discussion will be presented by Wida.
Okay, my name is Wida Ayuwandini and I would like to explain about young adulthood. In American, young adulthood is after reaching an appropriate age, usually between 18 until 21 years old. Children are encouraged but not forced to leave the nest and begin independent life. Then, many families or parents feel that children should make major life decision by themselves. Jadi, di Amerika, beberapa keluarga biasanya menyuruh atau mendorong anak-anak mereka yang sudah berusia remaja dewasa atau sudah lulus SMA untuk meninggalkan rumah dan zona nyaman mereka. Keluarga akan mendorong anak-anak mereka untuk belajar hidup mandiri, dan remaja dewasa juga dibebaskan dalam hal pergaulan dan sosialnya. Orang tua juga tidak terlalu mengatur pilihan hidup anak mereka. But in Indonesia, young adulthood still stay with parents, don't go out home at night, and don't come home late. Di Indonesia, usia 18 sampai 21 tahun itu biasanya masih tinggal bersama orang tua. Kadang ada beberapa anak yang masih diatur kehidupannya oleh orang tua, namun ada juga yang tidak. Lalu ada peraturan jam malam di mana anak tidak boleh pulang lebih dari jam 9 malam atau tidak boleh keluar malam hari. Beberapa orang tua juga masih enggan untuk membiarkan anak mereka hidup mandiri. The next, I will explain about the elderly. Societal and familial treatment of the elderly also reflects the independence and individualism. Older people may seek their own friends rather than become too emotionally dependent on their children. And some families send their older relatives to nursing homes rather than integrate them into the homes of children or grandchildren. Di Amerika, perlakuan masyarakat dan keluarga terhadap lansia mencerminkan kemandirian dan individualisme. Keuangan lansia terjamin oleh jaminan sosial atau kesejahteraan yang diberikan oleh pemerintah sehingga tidak bergantung kepada keluarga mereka. Beberapa lansia di Amerika juga suka berkumpul dan bercerita dengan teman mereka di sebuah pusat lansia gitu, terus dibanding diam di rumah. Beberapa keluarga juga ada yang mengirim lansia ke panti jompo. Mungkin karena mereka sibuk atau gak ada yang gak mau ngurus orang tua mereka. In Indonesian, older people usually stay with their children, and some older people also sent to the nursing homes. Di Indonesia sendiri, lansia biasanya tinggal bersama anak. Jika sudah memasuki usia lanjut, biasanya mereka bergantung kepada anak mereka atau kepada kerabat mereka. Tapi ada juga yang hidup mandiri dan tidak mau membebani keluarga lainnya. Namun jika ada anggota keluarga yang sibuk, mereka biasanya memilih jalan untuk memasukkan orang tua mereka ke panti jompo atau lansia ke panti jompo. Dan ada juga yang mungkin tidak punya kerabat atau tidak punya anggota keluarga lainnya sehingga harus tinggal atau sehingga memilih untuk tinggal di panti jompo. I think that's all for me, and the next will be explained by Hafidz.
My name is Hafidz Dardarulloh F. So I'm here want to explain about the nuclear and the extended family in the United States. So let's get started. The nuclear and the extended family. In the United States, the nuclear family consists of the father, the mother, and the children is considered the family. The extended family, common in other cultures, includes grandparents, aunts, uncle, cousins, nephews, niece, and in-laws. The distinction between the nuclear and the extended family, distinguishing these two types of family is very important to show the extent of bond and obligation. In extended families, the children and parents have strong ties and obligation to relatives. It is common in these families to support older family members, to have intensive contact with relatives, and to establish communal housing. The life and economy of both families. The American nuclear family usually has their own place of residence because after a couple marries, they usually start living independently and are economically independent of other family members. It is not uncommon for members of the nuclear family to borrow from banks rather than from their relatives. Relatives are still considered family, but it is beyond their obligation apart from their family members. Of course, this does not apply to extended family types. Next will be explained by Feby.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Feby Milenia. I will try to explain working wives and husbands and also single parent families. Working wives and husbands, traditionally, the male was responsible for financial support of the home and family members, while the female was responsible for the emotional support, child raising, and housekeeping. But during the past 2 to 3 decades, uh, gender roles have been redefined. A man as the breadwinner and woman as the housewives have changed dramatically. The reasons of this change are the first is women's movement, such as educational goals and careers. Careers is like women want to pursue their uh, professional interest in order to fulfill themselves to contribute to the larger society. So they are not only contribute for their family. And the second reason is financial necessity. It is more like nowadays is no longer possible for a family to live from one salary. So many women choose to work because they want to share in providing financial support for the family, for the family income, and so their work is not represents a means of attaining personal fulfillment. And because of that, many women carrying an extra burden. They work outside home, but they are still primarily responsible for the maintenance and care of the household and children. But in some cases, especially in the highly educated family, uh, there are dual career couples where both the husband and the wife work full time in high level professional job like lawyers, doctors, professors, and managers. In this family, there is generally a more equitable sharing of family and home responsibilities. Like the male is also helping the woman's work, or the male is also contribute in maintenance the household and children. And there are also situations where there are members of couples that cannot find um, employment in the same geographical location. So one will move and commute back to the family on weekends. But people in this family uh, believe that their family life is better because they make the most of the little family time that they have. Next is single parent families. Is a family that consists of children and one parent, either the mother or the father, but most of all is usually the mother. American family estimated almost 50% of all marriages end in divorce, and thus resulting in a high number of single parent families that headed by mostly women. Many of these women do not receive alimony or child support payments, so they are more likely poor than a married woman. And single mothers and fathers are often also feel stretched to their limits because they carry the burden of supporting a family and also being totally responsible for their children. They have very few opportunities for rest and relaxation unless they have supported extended family members who will help them. And when single parents marry each other, they create step families or blended families. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Marina Ariestian. Here I would like to explain about varieties of families in the United States. There are five varieties. The first one is nuclear family or traditional family. Nuclear families, also known as elementary or traditional families, consist of two parents, usually married or common law, and their children. And the main idea is that the parents are raising their kids together in the family home. But on Wikipedia, only 23.5% of families in the United States in 2002 were traditional families. The second is single parents family. Single parents family consists of one parent with one or more kids. The percentage of single-parent households in the U.S. has doubled in the last 3 decades. Increasingly, single-parent families are due to out of wedlock birth, especially those due to unintended pregnancy. Third, step families. Step families are becoming more familiar in America. Divorce rates are rising and the remarriage rate is rising as well. Therefore, bringing two families together, making step families. Over half of American families are remarriage. That is, 75% of marriages ending in divorce, remarry. 4. Extended family. The extended family consists of grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. In some circumstances, the extended family comes to live either with or in place of members of the nuclear family. Historically, among certain Asian and Native American cultures, the family structures consisted of a grandmother and her children, especially daughter, uncles, brother, and other male relatives sometimes help out. And the last one is other, like many couples without children and unrelated people living together can also constitute as a family. People who live alone may likewise see themselves as a family. Most people in America prefer to live without a complete family member. I think that's all about family values. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.